thing was horrible, man. I'm just sitting there like Nickelodeon and Tyler Perry could have done a better job of making this monster. This thing was. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, thank you for joining. Tonight is going to be a tad bit different on this movie review. We usually do movie reviews and we also do discussions. However, tonight we went to an early screening of It Lives Inside, directed by Bashal Duda. And it being a horror movie, my wife and my son decided to go to the jumping amusement park or whatever you would call it. Y'all know the trampoline park. So they decided to go there and jump instead. My son was not having it at all. We're not a horror family here, and I'm especially not. I am. I cry at movies, and I get scared. And tonight I was not scared, and I'm about to tell you guys why I think this movie was horrible.
Somebody wasn't hearing.
So, based off of the title, I don't think that I've heard anything about this movie. So, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, It Lives Inside. So the title basically was saying that you can seal this demon or whatever it is inside of a vessel, right? So it was inside of a vessel. Of course, it got out, right? So thus, it lives inside. The demon lives inside of something. You want to seal it up and keep it sealed. Um, but this movie follows a young girl who's in high school. She's an Indian girl who is very big on they really leaned into the Hinduism, uh which was actually, being Christian, don't get me wrong, I'm Christian, but I enjoy seeing different takes in different cultures, so that stood out to me and I actually enjoyed that. And they leaned into the Hinduism, and this seemed to be a tale from, I don't want to say from Hinduism per se, but from that culture, right? And it was like one of those scary stories or something, like kind of like the boogeyman, it was something like that. And that's exactly what this was. So this high school kid has a best friend that she used to have in high school, and the best friend is the one who comes to her with this jar. And she comes to her with this jar, and the girl, the main character, Sam, she's trying to fit in. So she's like, man, you've been so freaking weird, and she knocks the jar, and then that pretty much sets the movie up.
Okay. So, is this more? I know a lot of horror films take place, past tense. They go back in time to tell a story.
Right.
So, is this more? Is this a past tense or is it more present day?
No, totally present day. The use of iPhones, what use of iPhone, I wouldn't say it was heavy in the film, but it was present. It was definitely a present day film.
So you told us that this vessel was basically unleashed, right? So with the unleashing of this vessel, who did it consume? Or did it hop around to different people?
This is giving away, but not giving it. It's not giving the movie away.
Okay.
Per se, it's kind of giving away the whole folklore, and it may be, like I said, this is part of their culture, so this may be a well-known story. This being, it kind of like attaches itself, not physically, not like Blue Beetle attaches itself, but it feeds on it feeds on. I think they said the fear, and also the flesh, literally the flesh of its victim, and it feeds on that person for 7 days. The seven is like supposed to be real big in Hinduism. They kind of say like in Christianity, seven is the completion day, right? But in Hinduism, they say that seven is like real big. So it feeds on that person for 7 days, but it has to break them down mentally. Mentally, it breaks them down using fear, and then it it takes its time and feeds on them. But in this one, of course, I told you it was the main character Sam and her friend, and there was a boy who was already murdered at the beginning. This is like set up to it. You don't see it unless you do see it at the opening, because I did kind of I was paying attention, but I wasn't. Maybe that's who was being murdered at the beginning, the opening scene. was the boy, and I say that, don't get me wrong, I'm giving it away, but I'm not, and I'm not. It's not even really spoilers. Like you still see the film. It's not even really spoilers. This is all like the setup, you know. So I guess also anyone that tries to help the person that the being has targeted, they will also try to it will also try to kill.
Okay. So does it actually kill whoever it has targeted? Because you said it's 7 days. So at the end of the
Excuse me.
7 days, does it completely destroy that person? Does it kill
Yes,
that person? Okay.
absolutely,
And then it hops to the next victim.
absolutely. And when I say this movie was horrible, don't get me wrong, it kills. There's no you know, it definitely kills.
Okay. Okay. Um, is there a tactic? So a lot of horror movies has a tactic in order to suppress whatever
Right,
the
and get that's and see that's you're touching on one of the things that I found problem with this film. I thought that the film was a little bit it took so long to get there. And don't get me wrong, the elements of a good horror film are present in here. It's just the way that it was delivered I didn't care for. And it took so long. It seemed as if the entire movie was basically one big act, and it was just building up, and then it closed it in like the last 10 minutes. So when you ask if there was a way to destroy it or a way to conquer it, yes, that is present and it does come in, but they really fail at trying to explain how they got the information. How don't get me wrong, it was there the whole time, but where how did that person get all this information? Like for me, I find it funny with horror movies, and maybe this is why I don't like horror movies because generally they really all are pretty bad, right? Really, when you really think about it, all horror movies really suck as a movie. You know what I'm saying? But like the explanations be so horrible. Right. It's like they just take for granted that you're just gonna accept it because you're being scared. And this wasn't even one of those jump, oh I'm gonna jump type of films. It wasn't, man. It sucked. Anyway, and if I'm saying that I didn't get scared, I promise you this movie sucked. Um, she finds out how to solve it. Her mother is big into the culture and everything, and she was one of those kids that wanted to fight her own culture, which really is a whole nother conversation because that always upsets me when I see people that don't want to embrace their culture. Mm-hmm. Instead, they want to embrace westernized culture instead of their own. You know what I'm saying? Right. Which is fine. You can do both, but you don't have to. You don't have to be embarrassed of your own culture in order to appease those in Western society. Right. That really upsets me. But yes, that was a long way to get to a short answer. Yes, there was a way to conquer it, and yes, she did find out how to conquer it, which was a twist, by the way. You would just have to go see it to find out how she accomplished it, if she accomplished it at all. And I'm going to say that I'm not trying to give you some, oh man, shocker, but it really was a twist, and it does say it kind of leaves you like, dang, did she really defeat it or what? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you have laid this out for, it sounds like it was a pretty good movie. However, you said that it's horrible. So mm-hmm. Are there any other elements that may turned you off of this movie outside of what you've already said?
Yes. I will say, and don't get me wrong, I obviously there's a couple things, and I think it had more so to do with the budget that they were given. But you also have to realize this was, I believe, this director's maybe fifth or sixth film, mm-hmm. and maybe the first one to really touch America. I'm not quite sure, you know. But with that being said, obviously he didn't have the biggest budget, and that's present in this film. But he did as well as he could with what he had. Right? Now follow me for a second. Being that I said that, it kind of makes me be like, dang, should I be so harsh on the movie? But it was still bad. They in an entire high school with no other teachers except for one. Even when the kids was walking, there's literally no other teachers in this school except for one teacher. Like literally, like I was just like, wow, y'all couldn't even have a producer stand in the background, act like a teacher, like nothing. Oh my gosh, that irritated me so bad. Like then I kept wondering, why is this teacher that was in the school, why is she so adamant about being in the school by herself all the time? No matter what time of the day, she's in there by herself. That irritated me. uh, why the build up of the reveal of the monster. Um, he, he looked like something. I feel like we could get together as a family and create it ourselves with glue and paper mache and you don't know. So I'm so
Oh my
serious
God.
right now. Glue, paper mache, toothpaste. We could have made this monster ourselves. This thing was horrible, man. I'm just sitting there like Nickelodeon and Tyler Perry could have done a better job of making this monster. This thing was.
Wow.
Man, listen, I was so appalled. So yeah, out, outside of the story being rushed somewhat, how can you rush and take your time? I don't know, but they accomplished that. Outside of the story, rushing and taking this time, and the and the build up taking forever. You know what I'm saying? The set, I guess the set production of the whole thing was just it was horrible.
Okay. So, on a scale of go see it and stream it or not even worry about it, where
Right.
where is this line?
Of course, you guys, y'all come to this channel to find out if you should go see this movie or not. And the answer is a whopping no, that which is no surpriser. Listen, man, I do this so you don't have to. You guys remember that. I do this so you don't have to. Don't waste your time, don't waste your money. I wouldn't even say wait for it to stream. I say don't even worry about it. This may be the first one I said don't even worry about it. This is the first film that I think on this channel I have said don't even worry about it, and I mean that with every fiber in my being. Don't even worry about it. Thank you.
Make sure to click, comment, and subscribe.
We out. Peace.